Hi everyone, it's Cass. Welcome back to my channel, whatcassread. Today I'm going to bring you like a really early, but not early because this is coming out on Christmas Day, Christmas book haul. These are some of the books that I purchased myself. I do have one gift. This includes my Black Friday haul, but I am going to be going out of town, so this is like way pre-filmed. So what this week is going to be the last week of pre-recorded videos, and then I'm going to take next week off. So I wanted to bring my Christmas book haul a little bit early, so that way it was up and ready to go on Christmas Day. This includes some of the books that I bought from Book Outlet for their Black Friday sale. I placed one order, and then Cyber Monday rolled around and I placed another order. And I don't have that one in yet, but you know, we got filming to do, we got a schedule to keep. So all of the second part of my Black Friday / Cyber Monday book outlet haul, that's gonna come in January. We'll just lump it in with my birthday book haul and just call it a day. But I do have a good chunk of books here that I would like to share with you. So let's get to it. So the first book that I want to mention as a part of this haul, this was actually gifted to me by Lee Nichole. She has a YouTube channel on here. I buy a lot of stuff on Amazon, so I picked up the Amazon package not realizing that this was a gift. So when I opened it, I was completely surprised that this came from my wish list. So thank you so much, Lee, for sending this to me, and she had a really great note in this. I think that this book is going to be on a ton of people's wish lists, a ton of people's Christmas TBRs, because there's just been so much good buzz about it. A lot of people really enjoyed the Night Circus. The note that Lee left for me said at the very beginning that this book felt a lot like falling in love. And if that's not like a good enough description for me to try and get me to read a book faster, I don't know what is. That was like such a ringing endorsement for this book, so I'm very, very excited. Yes, The Starless Sea, written by Erin Morgenstern, I feel like is a really hard book to explain. It follows a young man who had an accident or an incident happen to him when he was younger, and then flash forward to the future, he stumbles across this book that he's reading a passage, and he's reading about himself and that incident that happened to him in the past. How this relates to the Starless Sea, I'm not really sure, because there's like a bunch of clues that he's supposed to follow and all that stuff. Thank you so much, Lee, for sending this to me. Seriously, it was such a surprise when I opened it, because I just like wasn't expecting anything. This is a book that was like a gift to myself for sure, because I had to place this order on Book Depository for it to even get to me in time for the holidays. So this is Starsight, written by Brandon Sanderson. This is book number 2 of his Skyward series. It says the sequel. I don't know if it's supposed to go past a sequel, but very excited for this book. This was one of my like most anticipated releases for the end of this year. We follow a young woman named Spencer who has been training to become a pilot on this planet, and at the very end of Skyward, she uncovers a secret about her planet and about her father. This mystery about her father really came full circle for her. She discovered a secret about the Krell, this alien race, and it's just kind of thrown her whole world upside down. So it was such a great ending that I'm very, very pumped for this book. If I don't know, I'll give you all an update, but I do also have this book on audiobook, so I am road tripping for my vacation. So this might be an audiobook that I end up listening to on the road. You never know if I'm gonna come back from vacation having already read this book. That would be kind of cool. The next 2 books that I want to talk about, this is The Girl in the Tower, written by Catherine Arden. And then The Winter of the Witch, also written by Catherine Arden, books 2 and 3 of the Winter Night Trilogy. If you watched my video that I posted earlier this week, I was talking about wanting to get to the Goodreads Choice Awards challenge that I started for myself. It's going to be starting in 2020, and The Winter of the Witch is one of the books that I want to read for the challenge, but I have to read The Girl in the Tower first. I've also been putting off finishing off this trilogy because I just thought that The Bear and the Nightingale was like super perfect, so I was a little bit worried about how this whole trilogy would wrap up. We follow Vasilisa throughout her life. There's a very, very beautiful magical element to this story. It takes place in Russia. I should have gotten to this a lot sooner. Okay, this is another book set that I have been really looking forward to. This is the First Law Trilogy, written by Joe Abercrombie. It was actually just like a better deal to get the whole trilogy in the box set. So book number 1 is The Blade Itself. Book number 2 is called Before They're Hanged. And book number 3 is called Last Argument Argument of Kings. So Joe Abercrombie is an author that I have had as a part of like my long-term fantasy reading plans, because everybody says that the First Law Trilogy, number one, is like one of the greatest trilogies written in fantasy of all time. Other people are also calling Joe Abercrombie like the godfather of grimdark, and I feel like I don't always get around to grimdark, but this is definitely a trilogy of books that I've wanted on my shelf for a long time, just to like round out my whole fantasy collection. So I finally just like bit the bullet and purchased it, so now I have the whole trilogy on my shelf. Okay, and then the remaining books that I have here are the books that I purchased for part 1 of my book outlet Black Friday haul. A Poison, Dark, and Drowning. This is book number 2, written by Jessica Cluess, that follows A Shadow, Bright, and Burning. That's what it's called. I recently hauled that in November. If I really end up enjoying A Shadow, Bright, and Burning, then I'll have the second one ready to go, which is kind of cool. This was a purchase that I had made inspired by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, because she had talked about Jessica Cluess as being like a really underrated fantasy author. So I'm all about looking for lots of different types of fantasy books to, you know, get invested in. So that's why I took a shot with these 2 books in the trilogy. Then we have The Fated Sky, written by Mary Robinette Kowal. This is the sequel to The Calculating Stars, which I did read earlier this year for the BookTube SFF Awards. I was looking to expand my science fiction collection on my shelves anyway. Really, really, really enjoyed The Calculating Stars. If I had had this book when I was a younger girl in high school, I probably would have wanted to become a physics major, a math major. I probably would have tried harder in calculus. As it turns out, I became an English major instead. So this is the sequel to A Calculating Stars, where in The Calculating Stars, we have this extinction event that happens to planet Earth, where a meteorite hits right outside Washington, D.C., and the planet undergoes a change because of science. I'm just gonna put it right there. That's such a terrible explanation for it. Their whole purpose in that book is to colonize the moon. And so The Fated Sky takes place a couple years after The Calculating Stars, where they're on the moon, and we still follow our same main female character. So I do plan on getting to this one. If I get around to it, I'll probably listen to it on audiobook, because Mary Robinette Kowal, the author, is also the narrator for the audiobook. Okay, I thought I'd take a chance on this one. This is The Book of Dust, written by Philip Pullman. This is the first book in the La Belle Sauvage trilogy. This book is a prequel to the His Dark Materials trilogy, and then the next book that already has come out, which is called The Secret Commonwealth, I believe takes place after, and then I don't know what the third book is going to be. But I took a chance on this one because I actually just finished up Northern Lights / The Golden Compass, which is the first book in the His Dark Materials trilogy. Give this one a chance and have more of this world on my shelf, because I've really been enjoying it. So I don't know a lot about it. I'm afraid to read this cover in case there's spoilers for it. This book I purchased was purely because it was on Book Depository for a good price. It's a fantasy book, and I'm always trying to expand my fantasy repertoire. So this is Tigana, written by Guy Gavriel Kay, and this is supposed to be like a cornerstone of Canadian authors, Canadian fantasy authors. It had so many ratings on Goodreads, and again, it just seems like this might be an author that I would like to have in my repertoire and in my library. And then because I was already like looking at Guy Gavriel Kay, then I came across Children of Earth and Sky, which is also a standalone fantasy novel. Again, good number of ratings, like a good number of people have read his work, and I just wanted to expand my fantasy library. All right, this book is going to be a little bit more of a wild card. This is Wicca The Saints, written by Emily A. Duncan. This had a big splash like when it first came out on BookTube. This is a young adult fantasy novel that was supposed to be like a darker fantasy story. I don't remember if it was like necromancy or dark magic, and it seemed to be hit or miss. I just decided to pick it up and see which side of the coin that I fall on, because the second book is coming out, so it's just, I've been taking a chance on YA fantasy this year, and why not just give this one a try? This is Onyx and Ivory, written by Mindy Arnett. I honestly didn't check out to see what this book was about. It was because it was a part of my book depository haul that I picked it up. Now this book I was really happy to see on Book Depository as a part of the sale. This is We Hunt the Flame, written by Hafsa Faizal. This is a new young adult fantasy story that a bunch of, maybe not a bunch of people, but enough people that I follow have read it, have loved it, have sung its praises. And this is supposed to take like inspiration from like ancient Arabic folklore or ancient Arabic fantasy. And it's about a young girl who's like a hunter who dresses up as a man to navigate her way through the forest and all that stuff. I think that out of all the YA fantasy that I've hauled in this haul, this might be the one that I get to first. I'm just really excited and really intrigued. I have really been enjoying desert fantasy this year, so I might as well read this one and keep that whole train going. So this is We Hunt the Flame, written by Hafsa Faizal. Okay, and the final book in my book haul, this is Only Human, written by Sylvain Nouvelle. This is the final book in the Themis Files series. This is a trilogy of sci-fi books written by Sylvain Nouvelle. Speaking of Canadian authors, Sylvain Nouvelle is from Canada as well. But anyways, the first book, Sleeping Giants, is a book that I had put on my science fiction TBR for 2019, and I did not get to it, but that doesn't mean that I've given up on it, because this is a whole trilogy that I wanted to get to. It's a young person falls through a crack in the earth and then finds himself in this like giant robotic hand. Flash forward to the future when they become an adult, they are a scientist studying what this is all about. So that's the first book, and then it goes through the whole trilogy. I've been wanting to collect this trilogy in hardcover, so when I saw Only Human, the final book, I did not have it in hardcover yet, so there we go. My sister actually has raved about this whole trilogy. She was very excited about this book when it came out, because we were at the bookstore together when it came out, and she was very excited about it. So now that I've remembered that my sister is really into it too, I should read this trilogy. Okay, so kind of all over the place sort of book haul, but that's what you get when you have like the big sale that goes on. I honestly like forgot about half of those books that I hauled from Book Outlet because the shipping takes so long. That's besides the point. Let me know, how is your holiday going? How is Christmas going for you if you celebrate? Did you get the books that you wanted, that you were looking for? Let me know which books that you ended up receiving down in the comment section below. And like I said, I am going to be taking off of filming for next week. So this video plus a video coming up on Friday the 27th of December will be the last ones that I post, so then I'll see you back here in January. You know how these videos end. Talk to you later. Bye.